All right, so I want to talk about something really quick, and it's not something that we normally talk about or I even normally talk about, but I've just been seeing a lot of things that are alarming. And Castellio Vaughn, he's a guy that's in prison, and his before and after pictures are very concerning. And look, I don't know all of the details. He's not receiving medical care, is what his family has released. He's wearing a pamper, cannot walk. When he went to jail, he could walk and was fine. And so, to me, I'm just going to start with those baselines of when he walked into the jail, he walked into it. Right now, he's in a pamper and can't walk. And so, it also brought me to something that I saw where Senator Ossoff. So we know Senator Jon Ossoff is from Georgia. He's our representative from Georgia. And in his opening statement, he made an opening statement and he revealed a 10-month investigation into uncounted deaths into America's prisons. And he had the quote that said, "We are here today because what the United States is allowing to happen on our watch in prisons, jails, and detention centers nationwide is a moral disgrace." And so for me, that just made me think, and it's like a lot of things have this moral undertone, and we're going to talk about more things involving sports and the moral undertones with that, because as an athlete, yes, I know that you've seen like athletes may cheat on their spouses, athletes may, break the laws, DUIs, anything of that nature. Yes, like I know that you know those things about athletes, but there's a reason that people automatically place athletes as role models or people that they want their kids to look up to, because there's certain things that you need to be when you're an athlete. And that's, you need to have a certain level of discipline. You need to have teamwork. You need to be confident. But there's that moral thing, that undertone of why you would want your kid to follow an athlete. And so I'm just starting to see that morally, when you see people in sports doing things that are immoral, in a sense of coaches telling on their other coaches, and we'll talk more about that in this episode, but morally, that's the word of the day. It's morally. Like what we're doing morally as a country seems to be going the wrong direction to me personally. And it's like, as a country, we got to figure out a way to be a community. Like go back to where it takes a village. I don't know where that's happening anymore. I mean, I know it's happening in my church. I know my family is that way, but we got to get back to the it takes a village mentality. And we got to get back to that when it comes to social media. We got to get back to that when it just comes to your neighbor. We got to have humanity. Like, I feel weird saying that, but it's like at this point, how we're treating everybody in every sector, the prison systems, the sports world, your neighbor. It's like, we got to do better. People, can we do a little bit better than what we're doing now? Because right now it don't look like we're even trying. And if we are trying, then maybe try a little bit more, spread a little bit more humanity, because just how we're treating our fellow human is not like you would treat a human being. And so whether it's somebody stealing money from the poorest state in the United States, whether it's coaches telling on their head coach and spreading so that they can get them fired, whether it's our prison system treating humans like animals, it's all unacceptable. And so my thing is, can we, like there's all kinds of songs about these type of things. What's going on? I'm just saying, what's going on? Like, can we do better as a society? Because it just doesn't feel good. And I know you feel it too. So humanity, morality, all of those types of things. Like, can we get back to that? It takes a village. All right, we're back at it, the MoCo Newsroom, bringing you things that we found interesting this past week. Some of them are disappointing and interesting at the same time, but let's get it started. Who's going to get us started this week? Because we got a couple honorable mentions coming in this week.
Let me go first. Because they got some honorable mentions. Let me get my foolishness out the way, because I call it foolishness to the nth degree. So headline was, and this is what caught my mind, Herm Edwards' staff helped him get fired in an unbelievable way.
Unbelievable.
So I'm like, his staff helped him get fired. So how does that even work? And so I'm thinking maybe they were just undermining his leadership, his integrity, and this and the other in the locker room, off the locker room. But no, they went a step further. So apparently no one was happy. And I want to say no one, because for your entire staff to be in on this is crazy. And this is the article. It's allegedly. I'm not saying allegedly, because not everybody probably was feeling that way. So I don't want to lump everybody in. But apparently what they did is they actually wanted him to have a losing season. They knew that if he had a losing season, he'd be out of there. So what they did was the staff actually was giving information to their opponents so that they would be able to beat them in the games, which to me is the most disgusting display of, I don't even know how you even want someone to stay on that team. So that's what they were doing. And so then, you know how, and the thing is, as I read, I was like, well, how did they even find this out? One of the opposing teams told it. It was easy.
And like, what were they doing? Given the scouting report, the game plans? It's
basically, like I guess if so-and-so stepped up in practice or something like that, they would tell him, oh, well, he's not going to be playing. He's strong on this side, but not this side. You know, you only need a couple of major pieces to be known. That's like
what people do for betting, like that little insider tips, like for betting. It's like, that's crazy.
So basically, his staff wanted, I guess they weren't happy with who the college chose to be the coach. I guess they had someone else they had in mind. So they said, oh, okay, well, here's the easiest way to get him out. So they literally undid their own foot. Think about the seniors. Think about you know what I'm saying? Like, that's so dirty and underhanded. It's so bad. Your supporters, all of your what is it, your fan base. Think about all of your what do they call the people who give the money towards the schools?
Boosters.
The boosters. Like, you really did that, so they
were losing those games.
They got the wish. I think they're. I think that they said, and let me just. I will
because it would be even worse if y'all was giving out the nuggets and y'all was still winning.
Well, I think they were. They didn't. I mean, for what they were trying to do, it wasn't a terrible season. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 26-20. Or something like that. As far as
that's a tough season.
It's a tough season. It's a tough season, but I'm saying like seasons. But they were trying to. I guess they wanted him to have more of a losing than winning or increase the losing, because all you have to do is increase. If you're not making us better and you're making us worse, it doesn't matter if it's a winning season or not. If I lose more games than I lost last year, you're not doing your job. So it worked. He's out of there. He's out of there.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
You know what that's akin to, though?
What's
that's akin to, I put that akin to being a traitor for your country. You know, there's a lot of hard stuff. People are out there, you know, putting their bodies on the line for the game, and people are putting their money on the line for the game. And then you have this underhanded stuff going on in the back office of where they're trying to eradicate all of that. And I like I said, I akin it to being a traitor. He should never be allowed to work in sports again.
Okay,
yeah, whoever
those people should be out, because that's just, like I said, that's just not ethical to me.
Listen to this quote, and Haller, I guess is the person who wrote. He said, an opposing coach recently told The Athletic that it wasn't hard to get the intel on this season's team because someone within the Arizona State's Athletic wanted a coaching change.
That's just crazy. It's like even if you wanted it, you actually went through with something crazy like that. That's, to me, it's very concerning in sports, because in sport, there's more?
There's more.
Oh, wow.
So even though this is a wild move, it said it was Arizona State has been upside down for the past couple of months. It says after an NCAA, because here we go, NCAA investigation into Edwards' program, 5 assistant coaches at Arizona State University lost their jobs. 5 assistant.
So that means that all 5 of them must have had some type of knowing involvement. Wow.
And the program's star quarterback transferred from the program, and many people were calling for Edwards to be fired because he lost control of the team, and that's what they did.
So look, they was going to get him fired anyway. So now he going to get fired because he lost control of his team, supposably. But to me,
who were trying to get him fired.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just really concerned.
Now, would he have really been a participant, a willing participant in that?
Of course not. Probably not be a willing participant in somebody conspiring to have you fired. But here's the thing that concerns me. And again, I know, like, I'm one of those old school athletes, so this is old school mentality. But in sports, I really feel like, not outside of the court, which I know people probably, but there's how guys act on the court, and there's how people act off the court. And so you would think that there are guys that don't necessarily behave a certain way off the court, and that's a whole nother topic. But sports are supposed to be like your leaders on the court, your leaders in sports, your coaches are supposed to have a certain level of, like, morality that you're the hardest worker, that you show up, you do your job, you lead your team. It's somebody that's why athletes almost get tagged role models, even though J.R. Smith said, look, we never signed up to be a role model. But they tag athletes as role models because of the characteristics that athletes are supposed to build. But if you have coaches that are building characteristics of, I'm like literally turning on my own team and doing these things, it's like the opposite of sports to me. It makes my mind like, how can that even happen when sports?
That locker room was a mess because the assistant coaches are going against what the head coach says to make sure that they lose. So you can only imagine just the poison that they had going through that locker
people's
room.
lives. I'm talking about people's lives here. It's a game, yes. It's, we've put the value of gamemanship way too high, evidently, because when you want to sell your soul to the devil, this is the kind of
Snook done got hard. She said a traitor to your country. Now she said you.
I mean,
Snook, you got a real problem with this.
I really, when I'm trying to do something and be successful at it and competing, and as I said, doing all that other stuff, and then you have someone who's grinning in your face every day.
No, that's
and
tough.
telling
No,
you
you're
this
right.
and
That's
that,
tough.
and they're trying to really bring you down. That's tough stuff. I mean, that's really bad.
No, I mean, I'm glad to hear that those people. Go ahead.
And I feel the worst. I feel the most for the players. Like the players are the ones who are really feeling the impact of this. Exactly. That's I feel Snook's frustration because as a player, like she said, you give your whole life to this, and then you have people, it's like what you say. You preach all the time. Control your controllable. So this is something outside of your controllable. So this I can't even imagine what the players are even going through.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a good point because you give your blood, sweat, and tears, and think about all the extra hours. Like as a player, I put in a lot of extra hours outside of practice to be successful in the game, to help us win. It wasn't for me to be successful in the game. It was everything I did was to help us win. So imagine all them hours that athletes are putting in to help us win, but then the game plan is getting given away. It's this is bizarre.
Exactly.
But we're going to have to move on. Goodness, Cole, why did you drop that crazy one in here? My goodness. That is definitely something to hit the newsroom. Who's next? What we got next?
In entertainment news, we have a couple of things going on in entertainment. So Rihanna is going to be headlining the 2023 Super Bowl, and I can't
Rihanna.
wait. Yes,
coming back as the baby.
She's already an icon. That's what I'm saying. She's already an icon. This is just gonna propel her into super icon status. She deserves all the flowers. Good for her. I'm so happy. And another thing that we saw.
Can I ask a question about that real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you say who's going to be doing the Super Bowl?
Rihanna.
Rihanna. Okay, so it seems to me that Jay-Z's still running the show, right?
Yes, he is actually.
Because I heard
was he not? No, actually, I'm not sure.
I know that it's now the Apple halftime show, the Apple Music halftime show.
Yeah, I know that Rock Nation
Pepsi.
was in charge of it before. I don't know if they're still in charge of it. I have to.
That's why I was just wondering, because I know there was a little bit of, bad with the last one with Snoop Dogg and all the other rappers, and people were.
Well, that was the Super Bowl mad at them.
Okay,
the fans was turned up.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that Rock Nation is still in charge of putting on the halftime show.
That's all I wanted to know.
Who pulled out last year? That's actually a great connection. Thank you for that. So Jay-Z is Rock Nation. He's in charge of the halftime show. Last year Pepsi pulled out, but Rock Nation did. They're the new, I guess, sponsors, or the ones who are going to. Don't let's not get stuck in the terminology. I don't know if they're the sponsors, but they're the ones who are going to be putting on the halftime.
No,
show.
but that makes sense.
Cool.
So
Exactly.
Apple Music is the sponsor of halftime now. So for I don't know, as long as I can remember, it's been the Pepsi halftime show.
Yep.
And
exactly. So last year was the last Pepsi halftime show.
Yeah, and so this is a new tide shifting. This is big news. In a sense of Rihanna is the first halftime show for Apple Music. This is a whole different changing of the eras here that I kind of feel happening.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a great connection. Thanks, Snook. And in other entertainment news, we have Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West.
He's changed his name.
He legally changed his name to Ye because I saw the interview and they literally kept saying the artist formerly known as Kanye West.
Why is Snook saying yay?
He went on GMA with Lindsay Davis. and he actually said a lot. He apologized to Kim for any distress that he may have caused the family, and so yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like a lot of people probably feel the same way. But personally, I saw another side of him. I think that he's a smart guy for doing this interview, because he was actually explaining that he felt like everything was kind of like simultaneously connected in his life, where something that he co-created was being taken from him, like his kids, his design in Adidas, at Gap, and all these things. He felt like everything was being taken from him, and it's something that he co-created. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of understand where he's coming from. You know, as a creator myself, as a creative, I definitely feel very protective of my creations. So,
no, this is definitely a big topic. So I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a lot of celebrities that kind of put their input on when it came to Ye and his situations with Adidas, like Swiss Beats. He was like, look, I normally don't even get involved in these things, but if we start letting the brands overtake our creations, then it's going to be a ripple effect. If they're doing this to Ye, he was like, what you think they going to do to us? And so I watched the interview with Serena, of course, as well. And what I took away from it was interesting, because back 10 years ago, I know everybody remember, Sway, you ain't got the answer.
Oh,
Sway.
yeah. He admitted that Sway had the answer. That's right.
So in that interview, he had to go back and say Sway had the answers, because Sway told everybody 10 years ago, stop co-creating like that, because Kanye was like, look, I co-created all these brands. Yeezys, y'all see these Yeezys? That has my name on it. And Adidas is like, sir, read the fine print. Yeah, you co-created, but this our stuff. And all these other situations. So Kanye had to realize that, you know, he said, look, I went and got better lawyers, but at the end of the day, Sway said it best. He was like, why don't you take 2 steps back and start your own company? That way you own your whole thing, family owned and operated. Shouts to MoCo, okay? But that's kind of what Sway was trying to tell him when he threw that tantrum back in the day, because here's the thing. Anytime you co-create, that co part in the beginning means you got to work with somebody. That's half theirs too. And that's the thing when you co-produce, you know, we're doing that with Think Tank Productions. That's part of somebody else's brand too. And so Ye, he said he felt like, you know, he co-created his kids, he co-created his brand, and now he doesn't have any say in where his kids goes to school, what clothes his kids wear, how they dress. He doesn't have any say with what Adidas is doing with the brand. So he felt like all of those things happened at the same time, and I'm over it. So he had to say that Sway had the answers too. That's what had to come out too.
And he's very smart for even wording it that way. Like another thing that I got from this,
wonderful business.
Yes, he's a brilliant. He does have a brilliant mind. And one thing that I did take from this interview is that he chooses his words so wisely. And I know that everybody can roll their eyes at Ye, but he's a smart guy. I believe that he knows what he's doing. Like even how he said, Sway got the answer. Sway has the answer. Literally the next day. Yeah, Sway has it. Literally the next day, people had it on T-shirts. And he even acknowledged it during the interview. He said, that's Dondified language or something like that.
Yep.
And I was like, he's really, really just very thoughtful with the way that he puts words together. I know that it's not like I'm like standing or fanning out over Ye,
and I'm definitely not.
I'm just saying, the man is kind of brilliant.
Did you just get heard on their marketing company, Sam?
I did not.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, I know that Kanye, you know, he also even went on to say that people call him crazy because he wants to change the world. He went on to say all kinds of different things. Like, I know that Kanye is Kanye, and there's all of that Kanye-ness. But I also know that somebody, Sway, 10 years ago really said the blueprint. And I hope a lot of people are paying attention that whenever you want to create something, I know it's like, the reason he went off on Sway 10 years ago, because it is hard. Like, how can you create it on your own? Like, you know, like a lot of us like would have probably said the same thing. Like, how, Sway, how can I create a global brand right here in-house? But all of the things that go along with Kanye, the one thing that he has realized now that I hope we all realize, because we all watched Kanye go through it, is that when you co-create something, you pretty much give up a lot of control over it. Definitely. Like once you decide to lend your brand, your name, image, and likeness to someone else, you no longer can make a unilateral decision. You no longer have only say in that. And I think Kanye is a creative genius, and he likes for his ideas to be fully his ideas. But once you put co in front of it, No
But
more.
see, that's the thing. That's the part for me, and this is the part where, Kanye. I'm not a big Kanye fan, and that's fine. Everybody can have their own taste and flavor. That's fine. But my point is that a lot of companies co-create with these billionaire companies because they want that fast name out there. Now, I'm not even going to lie. Would people have bought a Yeezy 10, 15 years ago from Kanye just because it was
Maybe
a Yeezy?
Not. Right.
Maybe not. So the whole process had to come to fruition probably through Adidas, because Adidas was the only one who was doing streetwear at that time, street shoes at that time. Everybody else was kind of doing, like, Nike wasn't doing really street shoes other than Jordan. They were the ones who were introducing more streetwear clothing, more streetwear shoes. So it was that time for Ye to go through there. So at the same time, I understand what he's saying, co-create. But when you co-create, you have to be able to say, you'll let somebody buy you out too. You got to be ready to give up on that part of it, because if you want to grow and take it with you, you can't take the part that they own. So,
and that's like any business. Like,
that's any business.
Like, anything that you create at a business, they're not going to let you walk away and leave with it.
Yeah.
Even on Shark Tank, you see people that created a brand and they struggle so much to even give up 1% at a time, because they know that each percentage they give up is a part of their a part of their brand that they're giving up.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. So I just think that this is what it is. This was going to happen anyway. I mean, point blank period. He wanted to break into the clothing business. That's how he did it. He didn't do it the other way. So
Paul said exit strategy.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, most businesses out there, and I know I've worked for lots of different companies, when you're hired, they give you that little piece of paper about academic freedom and all of that, and intellectual properties that mean like, I came up with a lot of great ideas. I couldn't take them with me because I thought of them when I was on the job. I wrote on the company's computer, used their paper. So it's their stuff. So.
Yeah, and then just an ad, we do know, just so y'all know, like Kanye was with Ye was with Nike before he was with Adidas. And those Yeezy Octobers, like, again, still shoes that you can get $10,000 for online right now. So Ye is starting to realize what Sway saw in him 10 years ago, that, you are the brand. And so you ain't got to sell dope it sells itself. And so basically Ye is starting to realize that, I am the brand. I am the culture. You're starting to see a lot of people say these things now. Maybe to your point, Cole, nobody was in that mindset 10 years ago. I mean, even in 2020, we all started having a revelation about, like, wait a minute, we're the culture, we're the brand, we're what's happening right now. So why don't we lean into us? It's starting to happen with Kanye. So I am happy to see, like, do your own thing. Stop. Then don't co-create no more. You've already been with Nike. You've already been with Adidas. It's time to just be Ye.
Just be Ye.
Just be Ye. What you got, Snooker Booker?
Okay, well, I had two articles that kind of whet my fancy this week. The first one was in ESPN, and the reason that I'll hit this one real quick is because I've kind of been following this, because with my background with a university, I just wonder, what can a university do to make sure that its students act correctly and do not invalidate other people's rights or whatever? What could you do? You know what I mean? So BYU is in a big, big battle now, because their reputation has been kind of tainted, because they had a Duke basketball player who was called out of her name at one of their games, and it doesn't seem that the university did anything to really try to get a handle on that. They had a meeting or an investigation and found no racism or whatever. And so that happens a lot. And, I've been in situations where I've had to tell people, if I'm Black, I've been Black all my life, and you can't tell me when I've been discriminated against. And so this young lady, I really feel for her being out there. And it's the one of our other guests that talked about in soccer, being the only person of minority on a white team. How do your other players, how does it affect them? And I've heard players say they felt so bad it really took them out of their game, because they were so upset about what was going on with that. But anyway, what I was going to say, ESPN had an article that came out that says BYU, now this is the university who said they didn't find any racism, to honor the Black 14 a group of former Wyoming football players who once protested LDS church policy, and that's Latter-day Saints, Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day Saints. And so because South Carolina, Don Staley has said, nope, not going over there at BYU and playing any games.
Shouts to Don Staley.
She realizes that the university is not really going to take any accountability for that. So they come up with this thing. Well, let's go ahead and do a documentary and do something to honor the Black race to make them feel a little bit better about us. And so that's what I think it's all about. So that was on ESPN, one of their articles or whatever.
Habiliments.
Wow.
Which, if anybody's knows, habiliments means garbage. This is a garbage comeback, because if you felt like you did nothing wrong, then why all this hoopla? Why all this damage control? Why all this? Because you know you did it. You know that y'all did this because if y'all came out and said there was racism, that people were wrong, you would have to actually discipline people. And how are you going to discipline these people? So again, like I said, this is habiliments, this is garbage. They just, you know what? And before I was just going to say, unfortunately, that's the culture of some people of what we're having today. But now BYU, you get I don't even.
Yeah,
I'm
that could have flown before. And this, Serena says this to me all the time, and it's really true now. The audience is way more aware now. The audience is way more engaged. Audience meaning fans, humans, anyone of anything happening in the news and sports. People are aware. People are engaged.
It's the age of information. Like we have information at our fingertips.
We're not stupid. I'm sick of people. And people think we're stupid. I'm sick of people thinking we're dumb.
We here now, so it's like BYU do better. Like Don Staley already drew a line in the sand about, and the word is accountability. No, you couldn't have stopped them from doing it because you didn't know they were planning it, but you can make people accountable for their actions. And so there's no accountability. That's the problem, BYU. It's not about recognizing, like, great, what those people did, great, but that has nothing to do with you holding other people accountable. And that's the problem here.
And usually as I said, I've been in this arena many times with many different organizations. What organizations usually do is they get a committee together and then they have some sensitivity training and things for their students. They'll say that they'll ask even for grant monies. Like, we need to do some sensitivity training over here at BYU for our students. It'll be mandatory for staff, faculty, and then they'll have students go. But they didn't even go that far. They just didn't find anything.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Sensitivity training, that's actually really cool.
Sensitivity training might be something that BYU may want to invest.
I think that a lot of workplaces could benefit from that as well.
Definitely.
No, they do that a lot. I've made some nice little change from doing those.
Listen, side hustle, okay?
I'm sorry. They're not going to be able to sensitivity train 2020 after our last administration. It's way too big. Well, so I do believe that it's out of control. And unfortunately, birds of a feather flock together. And if a couple of people was in there who didn't think it was right, they may have left. They may not have been a part of it. But if 90% of the people in there were doing it, then that's what it is. It is what it is.
Just look at what you're saying.
Just look at what you're doing. So
that's a big
my
group.
point is, it's a big group. You can't do all that. So they would have been better off saying that they went and they talked to different groups, and they would have been better off saying that they even disciplined or tried to find out. But the fact that they say they do an investigation and no one did it, so everybody was lying, the whole team was lying. Right. So that's the part for me. That's why I said I just BYU, you just yuck.
And also, like, this, I feel, not to get like too deep or philosophical or whatever, but this is a little parallel with what happens throughout America, really. Like, if you think about it, like, a lot of people don't like to acknowledge, our history as a country, because they don't even, it's almost like they want to bury it. It's like, oh no, our family, like we weren't, like that's Martin Luther King, after civil rights, is like, that's all eradicated. Like, it's actually recently, Halle Bailey's boyfriend is under a lot of flack because he tweeted something out like, dang, I can't believe the reactions after Little Mermaid came out. I thought racism was dead after MLK. And I feel like when
her boyfriend was shocked at how bad it was.
He was shocked at
is he a member of our race?
I'm sorry?
Is he a member of our race?
Yes, he's black. He's black. So that's what I'm saying. So
that's so sad.
Exactly. So when things like this happen, it really does a disservice to the younger generation to believe like, oh, racism is dead. It doesn't matter. I can't get discriminated at my workplace. I can't get discriminated at my school. I can't get discriminated in the store, because racism is dead. And that's not true. Like I feel like even living in the South a little bit has kind of opened my eyes to that. Like I used to live in New York before. New York, I feel like is not as exactly is not as, I would say, for lack of a better word, as racist as the South. Not that I know of, but maybe it is, because maybe in the South it's probably just a little bit more out there. I don't know. I don't know how it is up in the North.
Roy
exactly.
said the NYPD would like to have a word.
Roy, hey, I'll tell them this to their face. Like, yeah, everybody. Whatever.
No, but to that point, I mean, come on, New York going to Georgia, there's no comparison. I mean, obviously there still can be racism in New York, but you went from
this
New
is
York
going to get worse
to Georgia.
Because kids aren't even going to recognize they're being racist, because we're not teaching critical race theory. They say it's critical race theory. We're not teaching our history in schools. So kids don't even, what's happening is that when you say that's not what it is, kids won't recognize what it is.
Exactly.
So you might have kids walking around.
They don't recognize what it is.
So they're out there being racist, and their school is supporting it because they're saying, we looked into it, and if we actually say they're being racist, then we have to teach them what racism is. They don't want to do that.
Wow.
They don't want to do that.
That's what happens as well. We're living in a society where it used to be we were very community oriented, where everyone like type stayed in like communities. So you stayed in the Black community, Italian community, whatever, Asian community, but now we're kind of diverse, and so when kids, minority kids have kids, and you live in a nice neighborhood, you go to a nice school, and your friends in your group say these things, you don't realize that they're racist, because you're not living the kind of life that your parents or your grandparents live. And so when they call you these names and make fun of you in your little groups or whatever, you don't even have enough sense to know that that's really discriminatory.
I'm going to call that the Carlton Banks effect.
I was literally just thinking that.
Anybody that's seen Bel-Air or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the old school one, Carlton Banks in a lot of episodes got in trouble for defending his friends, not even knowing that his friends was actually kind of making fun of him and kind of racist.
It was in the new one too.
That's why I said Bel-Air, or if you even seen the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it's in both shows. There's that Carlton, I'm gonna call it the Carlton Banks effect, where you're living in and submerged in the group, so you may not even know the group is actually making fun of you. So exactly, that's kind of the point that we're getting at here, and that was Snook's honorable mention. So for Snook's other one, I'm gonna make it mine, because I know a lot about this one as well, and it's Brett Favre. So Snook, set up Brett Favre for us, because if you guys don't know, Brett Favre is doing some things, and not good things.
Okay, well, let's just talk about Brett Favre a little bit. He's a great quarterback there. He won a Super Bowl. He's got all kinds of accolades. I'm talking about all kinds of
Would you think he had
accolades.
made millions during his playing time?
Oh, he has. He's paid for the Falcons. I thought that was interesting when I did my research. He played for the Falcons in 1991. So he does have some Atlanta ties there, but most of his stuff was with the Green Bay Packers, and he was like awesome there. But at any
he was
rate,
drafted by the Falcons. Roy put in the chat. Thanks, Roy.
What did he say?
He was drafted by the Falcons.
Okay. So at any rate, he had a wonderful, storied, historic football career. Now, I know back in the day, they might not have made as much money as they make today, but they made good money. And if you were smart with it, you could still be living good. Well, as I said, he's been a Super Bowl champion, and I was just so discouraged when I heard this latest information on him. So the reason we're talking about him now is because he's in the news for breaking some other records, and those are the kind that you really don't want to hear about. So I'll turn it over.
The records that go to jail: do not pass go, do not collect $200.
Correct.
Okay, so
there's a Times. Did you want me to tell the Times magazine? There's a Times magazine article that breaks it down with the $8 million.
quickly though, if you could break it down quickly.
Okay. So Brett has a foundation just like Renee. His is Favre for Hope. And in his organization, what he's doing is raising money for disadvantaged and misrepresented kids in Mississippi, supposedly. He had $8 million worth of funds that were given to his foundation for this particular purpose, which he spent on volleyball, gymnasiums. They said maybe some travel and some other fun things was done with that money, but it wasn't given to those starving, poor Mississippi kids, the poorest state in the nation.
And this is the fear that people have when they donate to charities and nonprofits. It's like, where is that money going to?
Literally.
Like, I feel like this is what gives, like people who are doing the right thing. This is what could discredit some of those people because of situations like this. That's unfortunate.
No, that's a good point. And thank you, Paul. He made $137 million on the field. And the reason I say that is because, like Snook said it, look, we have a foundation, the Renee Montgomery Foundation. We call it RMF. We are constantly looking for brands and sponsors to support our events, where 100% of our everything with the RMF, 100% of the proceeds go to RMF, just so people know. So we're one of those organizations.
And those proceeds go back into the community.
And they go directly back in. So even if I spent money to make a jersey MEM, I use the proceeds from the MEM jerseys and they go directly to the foundation. But now, after what's happened, she makes a good point. As we're now reaching out and going, it's going to make it harder for foundations. I'm a 501c3. We're probably going to fill out so much paperwork, do so much extra stuff, because now people have a legitimate fear. Where is our money going?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. And I hate these stories.
Give it to us.
I'm about to I'm going to lay it all out for you. I hate these stories because nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
You have a point.
Nothing is going to happen. See, the problem is that people are mad. You know what people are mad about on the internet? People are not upset because he actually stole that money and used it for the college because his daughter played volleyball and maybe the football team and some other stuff. People are not upset because he stole money, because nobody wants to say that word. He stole that money. Mm-hmm. People are upset because we're supposedly tarnishing his name.
Right.
That's the part. That's the part that said, and as long as people believe that people are being too hard on him and we're tarnishing his name, then nobody's going to do anything about it.
And to that point,
I have to argue with you, Nikki, about that, because I saw in articles they want him removed from the Football Hall of Fame, and we know of another person who was I know of one athlete who was disgraced, and my husband just said it the other day. They're probably never going to take that disgrace off of Pete Rose. They won't let him into the Hall of Fame because he was illegally gambling or whatever. So it does happen. I mean, he suffered.
I'm sorry,
from it.
He stole $8 million. That is jail time. He stole from the state government. I'm not talking about jail. I'm not talking about he stole money from the people who supported him. I'm saying he actually defrauded the government. Yeah, he defrauded Medicaid. That is a physical crime to go to jail for. And the fact that people are just mad because they're tarnishing his name, he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Who cares? You could have this trophy for the Hall of Fame. Don't put my name in there. Just don't put me in jail. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? That's so that's what I'm saying. That's why I said nothing's going to happen.
And all of this is allegedly conspiracies. I'm putting all these words out there just to cover us. Obviously, this is all allegedly. They have text
messages.
Speaking of jail, Cole, Brett actually floated the idea of having prison labor help with manufacturing of the lockers and different things of that nature. So if he does end up going to prison, he can help make the lockers himself. Then he might be able to actually put some hours in and create it himself. Because to your point, Cole, this sounds like a crime that a criminal should go to jail for. Like,
definitely.
We would go to jail for $100 of federal money.
And I want to make a very good point.
And I'm misappropriated. And I know for a fact we would.
And let me tell you, I have a perfect example. What happened in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm going to put Maryland out there. We had a mayor of Baltimore who supposedly stole $500 worth of gift cards. The gift cards, they say, she took them and she used them inappropriately, but no one ever said that she actually had the gift cards. But because the gift cards came to her administration, her office, and they weren't accounted for, they actually wanted her to serve jail time for that. They wanted her to be in jail for $500 worth of gift cards. This man stole millions of dollars in which the governor told him. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's like
the governor should go to jail.
Oh, yeah. All of them. Round them all up. Serena, what were you going to say? But round them all up.
I was going to say, to Cole's point of people not wanting to tarnish his name, people on the other side of that were giving pushback on the internet because people weren't talking about it enough, because people don't want to tarnish his name. Yeah. So you have people like Jamel Hill tweeting out, this is the biggest story in sports, because almost nobody was talking about it because they don't want to tarnish Brett Favre's name, to your point, Nicole, for sure.
And even to like the point of like, I'm going to play the other side of it, because we know this doesn't happen in real life, but let's say the media was trying to wait to see how things played out. Why does he get that benefit of a doubt when we see that the media...
the head coach of the Celtics didn't... I'm not defending nobody, but I'm just saying, as soon as that story hit, everybody ran with
Breaking news.
And it hit at the same time that Brett Favre's news broke.
Before we even knew what Ime Udoka did, because I was on the internet live when Woj dropped his Woj bomb and there was nothing in the bomb. It was like, Ime Udoka's in trouble. I don't know what for. I don't know what's going on, but he's in real trouble and it might be in a suspension.
Allegations of cheating. That's the first thing that I heard.
This is before that even came out. I was there for the first Woj bomb.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the first thing but exactly to that point, exactly. Before we knew all of the developments of the story, everybody was running with the cheating. No, but I'm talking about even with the cheating allegations. Yep. Let's say all they had was cheating allegations to begin with, and they ran with that too before they even knew of anything else.
I'm saying, but here's my thing. Like, I'm trying to say, before we even knew a allegation, like I was on the internet when Woj dropped the bomb that Ime Udoka did something. And I saw people speculating, did he bet on a game? Did his wife bet on a game?
Cheating meant cheating in the
No,
system.
they didn't even say cheating. I'm trying to get you guys to the inception of when it happened. Yeah. I saw the worst case scenarios getting assumed before they even said it was cheating. Because when I heard it was cheating, I was like, oh, it's cheating. I thought he bet on a game or something very, very but before that even happened, before we even found out it was cheating, I saw the worst case scenarios of who Ime Udoka could have been without any benefit of a doubt. And so for the people that are saying that they're not covering the Brett Favre story because you're trying to wait to let things develop, I'm just going to say, keep that same energy. Like, that's all and we're not defending nobody. I'm just talking about in general, the way that you behave with certain individuals needs to be the way you behave with all individuals. And so if you're not going to cover stories until you get the full story, then don't cover stories until you get the full story.
The article says that Brett Favre's most memorable stat may be 8 million meant for the poor. Now that's the Times headline.
And that's how it should go. And that's how he should be remained in history. We got to go. Listen, this MoCo Newsroom, my goodness, we had a lot to discuss this week. It was a heavy week and there was a lot going on. But the reason we're talking about it is because somebody should.
Yes.
We'll see y'all.
It's a heavy week in news.
Okay. So listen, we are here with Brianna Pinto, drafted number 3 in the NWSL draft in 2021, reigning out of UNC, all ACC player, of course, 3 times. I'm just throwing out some stats in case you ain't know. So, Brianna, welcome to the family. My snook, my mom is here, my sister Nicole, and then my wife Serena are all co-hosts of the show. Welcome to Montgomery Co.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to meet all of you.
Definitely. Thank you for joining us. So we're a family business podcast, as you can see, and we also are a sports family, and we talk about growing up in a sports family, what that's like. And I know that you grew up in one as well. Both of your parents went to UNC. You have brothers that play soccer. So tell me about what it's like growing up in a sports family, because we all been there. We know.
First of all, I love my family. They are my absolute support system. They've been through me, through thick and thick. Oh my goodness.
Through thick and thin. Is right. That's right, though.
Thick and thick and thin and thin. So they've just been so important to me because they've supported every single one of my dreams. And for my brothers as well, we've been able to push each other through sports. So all 3 of us play soccer. My dad was the one who got the big end of the stick because we ended up playing his sport instead of softball like my mom, but she's grown to love the sport and she knows it better than almost anybody. She watches the most soccer in the family. And
wow.
One of the beautiful things about having a family that's dedicated to sport is we can train with each other. We can watch our game film. We can critique each other in a constructive way. And it's just so helpful because every time I'm home, I can train with my brothers and my dad, and I know that they have my best interest at heart. And I'm inspired by my brothers. I wouldn't be where I am without them because they've taught me what it means to be a woman in a male-dominated space and hold your own and fight for just equality in a sense. And they made me tougher. So I'm just so grateful for each and every single one of them because sports is just a wonderful platform to bring people from different backgrounds together. And we love all sports, and we've had so many fun memories all across the world watching different sporting events. So it's just been really special to be a part of my family.
Love
That's
that.
nice.
Are you the only girl
Supportive
of all the
family.
siblings?
Yes. So I have an older brother, Hassan. He went to Elon University for undergrad, and then he took his grad year to Duke University. So there was a little bit of tension in the household. Yeah. He actually followed in my mom's footsteps. So both of them went to Fuqua's business school at Duke University, and he's getting his MBA there now. And my younger brother plays soccer. He's a junior at Princeton University.
So you better come on, family excellence.
Yes.
So the goal is for all three of us to be professional. My older brother played in the USL for Loudoun United and for Richmond Kickers, and my younger brother wants to play professionally as well. So hopefully that will happen in the next few weeks, months, years.
Or you guys are on the right track.
Whatever God has in store for us.
Yes.
Right. Listen, we've heard of the Ball brothers in the NBA doing some incredible things, but the Pinto family, okay, and the soccer world is making some noise. And now, so you were drafted 3rd overall, like I talked about, but you recently got a logo made and a website made for your personal brand. And I love this space that we're in where athletes are their own business now. We see it in college even starting. And so I'm just curious, what are you building? I want to know, what do you have coming up in the future?
So I think that inspiration came from my parents. So both of them also worked in sports. My dad worked for the Lakers and my mom worked for Major League Baseball as a producer. And they saw big time athletes who wanted to take advantage of using their brand and using their platform for good. And one of the things my parents stressed is that you're a person before you're an athlete and you've got a story to tell. And they wanted me to present myself as not only a Black woman, but somebody who fights for equality, for racial justice, somebody who fights for access to the game in soccer, because I was very fortunate in my upbringing and all the things that I had access to in terms of financial support, emotional support, physical support, things like that. So one of the things is we wanted to build this website because it not only tells who I am as a person, what I've been into, some of the things that I've been able to accomplish, but it gives you a background. Like you get to know my family on there and where I'm from, what I'm studying. So because I'm currently studying in business administration at UNC Keenan Flagler Business School. So I'll be done in December, which has been fun. And then beyond that, just for my fans and supporters, the ones who have been there from day one, I've made a merch line. Just if they want to wear it to games.
Just
if they want to wear it. Y'all want to rep your
everybody
girl.
else is studying, you're making merch and building a business and stuff. So tell us about that.
Brianna,
so I wanted to create a logo.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what you've done is a roadmap for others.
Logo. I appreciate it. And I think it comes from looking up to other athletes who have served as inspiration for me. So, for example, growing up and seeing Serena Williams, her career was so emblematic of just how powerful you can be as a figurehead in the world beyond your sport, because she went into a space in tennis and dominated it and claimed the space as her own and was unapologetically herself. And I saw a lot of beauty in that. And I want to, follow the same footsteps as her. And part of it is building your brand, talking about what your beliefs are, and just presenting yourself in the most authentic version of that you can. So I worked with Creative Allies. They are a company that my dad actually works for. And they helped me build a logo that we think would be timeless. You can play with the colors. So in my career, if I represent the national team or a different club team or whatever it may be, I can change the colors of my logo. So I wanted to leave it like kind of neutral. But right now it's blue because blue has been kind of a staple in my career so far because I played for UNC. Yep. I went to Gotham and now I'm at NC Courage. So we thought that would be a good fit. But I'm so happy with how it turned out, and I am so excited to continue growing the website and just investing in it more.
Nice. Congratulations on that.
Congratulations.
When I was talking about the roadmap, as I said, a lot of times we have to see it, that's one of the sayings, you have to see it so you can do it. But at any rate, I know we have a lot of questions in our family because we live in West Virginia, which is a little bit further down the road than North Carolina. And people don't see West Virginia as being one of those states who births a lot of different superior athletes. And so it's always, I've told Renee that she needs to kind of get it all lined up so that people can see what path she took and they can see that, if she can do it, they can do it. So hats off to that. In soccer, Renee played soccer, and I have a little granddaughter now who's playing soccer. And I don't know
we got a lot
of
people playing
I'm not
soccer,
as good as your mom,
actually.
probably, but I do know about a hat trick. And so I know Renee had a hat trick, and my granddaughter had one this weekend. So hats off to soccer.
Well, I'd like to tell you, Miss Montgomery, you have a beautiful family as well. So I'm so honored to be here with you all today.
Girl, you family. Okay.
Hats off to your mother as well. Tell her that she's right in the group that all mothers should be in, that supportive mother.
Definitely.
Thank you. I will.
It's interesting because there's a lot of parallels. Like Snook, I did play soccer. A lot of people don't even know that, but I did play soccer in high school. I played to stay in shape, but I'm curious if there's other parallels between the NWSL and the WNBA. Like, for instance, do people be trying to, do folks try to play y'all one-on-one for your heart, like a bend it like Beckham type of challenge? What goes on up there?
Love and basketball.
Love and basketball made everybody challenge us one-on-one. Does that happen in the soccer world? Like, what do they, what do y'all do? What happens over there?
One of the cool things is we have pickup groups. So one of the special things in Durham, North Carolina and Chapel Hill is that there's a rich soccer culture here. So everybody, if you're a man or a woman in the MLS, the NWSL, the USL, whatever league you may be in, they'll come together and we'll play during the off season. We'll push each other. And it's just such a tight knit group because we're all supporting each other all year long.
No. You didn't understand what I was asking you.
We're talking about
But I'm getting there. But no, there are some relationships that come out of those pickup groups because they are with you through the grind and they want to test you and see what you're all about. But I think there's this collective respect between men and women's sports because we're doing the same thing. We're crafting our dream before everyone's very own eyes. And it's really special to share that moment with everybody because you've got a community that believes in you.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So this is developing breaking news here, I feel like. So these games, it's a community event, but if some matchmaking accidentally happens, it's like that kind of accidentally happens sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen it in my time. Yeah.
Wow. So y'all listen. Okay, because there's not any type of situation like that for WNBA. Like dudes or anybody trying to holler at WNBA players, there's not really that crossover community event to where they would even have contact. So that's very interesting and also kind of dope that there's a community there because I know that even just talking to when I was a player, I was trying to find pickup games, like good pickup games. Like it's not just getting anybody to play. I wanted to play in games where I could actually get a good run in. So what you guys are doing is actually really smart because as a player, that's how Renee's runs even started for me, like post basketball, where it was like I was just trying to find good runs. So it actually really is dope that y'all do that and have a community to where you can go get a good workout in. That's dope.
Amen.
I just really love the crossover between men's and women's sports that's happening. You can see each other support one another. And one of the cool things we saw this week was one of the Carolina Panthers was wearing one of my teammates' jerseys.
Yes.
So that's like kind of cool. Like, even though it's a football and soccer, you can see just the mutual respect. Like, we're all playing professional sports, we're doing our thing, and it's cool to play the sport you love for a living.
No, I love that because we see the same thing too on the WNBA side, like where they're rocking somebody's jersey. Shouts to the Atlanta Falcons. Can y'all rock some Atlanta Dream jerseys? Okay, I'm just putting it out there right now. That is lit. We love a good crossover. And speaking of WNBA, we see WNBA issues hit our timeline a lot. We see them hit the news a lot. Two of the top issues are travel and player lifestyle. We've seen it talked about a lot. Even our president of the WNBPA, Nneka Ogwumike, has voiced her opinion about how it needs to be elevated. And so I'm curious, we know that in women's sports, there's a lot of things that we could focus on to be elevated, but what are a couple of the topics that the NWSL players are focused on?
I think fighting for living wages to make sure that you can focus solely on your craft, making sure that you're earning enough to create a life after you're done, because you give your body up and sacrifice so much to play a professional sport, both obviously in the WNBA and in the NWSL, because people come out with lingering injuries that affect them for the rest of their life, whether that's a concussion or bad knees or whatever it may be. So we're trying to set up our athletes for success beyond, and allowing them to build savings and learn investment and just financial security while they're playing their sport. So part of the win for us was establishing this collective bargaining agreement. And that happened earlier this year. And it was a really big win for us because the floor is now $35,000, but there's still room to grow. We want that to continue to grow over time as more investment comes into our sport. There isn't a ceiling to my knowledge. So I think people are earning over $150,000, depending on if you're an international superstar or whatever it may be. But we want to make sure that everyone is taken care of in a way where they can be okay and focus just on their sport, where they don't have to pick up side hustles. So one of the campaigns recently was no more side hustles, and we really wanted to push the league to support us. So now we have housing, which has been great. So we have team housing, and the standard is really, really great. We're fed before and after games, and that goes a really long way, just to make sure that you're comfortable and you're able to bring the best version of you every single day, because you don't have to worry about some of those other things. But regarding the overseas play, I've seen with the WNBA, a lot of players are going overseas to earn more pay, to lengthen their season, and to get more game time. And we have some of that. A lot of players do go over to Australia, and I mean, that's a fun destination. I'd argue.
I played there.
But that's not the reality for everyone. A lot of people do go to some countries where they may not feel welcome. And what we're seeing is with Brittany Griner. And one of the cool things is we've been able to support her. We've worn shirts bringing awareness to the situation, because it's trouble.
A couple of days ago.
Yeah. It was nice to support her. And we just hope that we can bring her home as soon as possible, because their situation is just so extremely unfortunate. And we need to raise awareness that, like, if we're able to keep players like that in our league and protect them and fight for social justice, which is a real factor in her situation, I think it'll go a long way. And we felt like we could do our part, because the WNBA has been really supportive of us, and we just want to pay it back to them.
I love that. I love how it's like a... Go ahead, Sling.
Well, I was going to say is with soccer, it used to be a European and an Asian sport more so than it was a U.S. sport. And so now, it's really getting more prevalent here in this country. And I don't want to harp on West Virginia, but we recently had one of our golf courses turned into soccer fields. We had 9 soccer fields installed, and they stay full pretty much every weekend during soccer season. You can't even get hotel rooms in here in our area for the soccer tournaments that are going on. So soccer is really on the rise, and I hope that you are able to build your sport to past the level of the WNBA. Just, as a woman's sport, I want to see you grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been so cool to just see the growth, not only at the youth level. More and more Black girls are playing soccer. And one of the things that, I struggled with earlier on was that I didn't have a Black team until I was 14. I was like one of the only ones on my team. But when I got to like the U20 national team, for example, it was the most diverse team I ever played on. And it was just so special to relate with your teammates in a way that I had never had before. And one of the fun things that I've really come to love is like the pregame fits and people expressing themselves. And the reason I think that's special is because the girls looking up to us can see themselves in these role models that are on TV, on the playing field, whatever it may be. And regarding my hair, like a pregame fit, I'll wear like my puff and sometimes I'll do Afro puffs or whatever it is. And I think it goes a long way because I wasn't comfortable wearing my hair like that when I was a youth soccer player. I relaxed my hair and I wanted to have like the ponytail and wear it to the side like my teammates did. But that representation goes so far because the level of expression affects generations to come. So I think it's been really special and just the growth that we've had, like even off the field.
Definitely.
Nice. And you said that so you were 14, you didn't really have any Black teammates, you said, right? And you grew up in North Carolina. That's correct? Wow, that's really crazy because you're 22 years old and this right now, and that wasn't that long ago. So to think that up until you were 14, you didn't really see any other Black teammates, that's just kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, and it's like, what is it like to be one of one? And, I get to read stories like Brianna Scurry. She was the goalkeeper on the women's national team who helped win the 1999 Women's World Cup. And she talks about her experience, even 20 years earlier. And it's cool to see just the legacy that she's even started because players could see themselves in her. And I want to carry that on because growing up, I looked up to Crystal Dunn, and she went to UNC, plays for the national team, and is playing for Portland Thorns now. But that representation is so, so important because if you can see yourself in a role that you want to be in, you can achieve it.
Definitely. And so the championship game is in DC this year towards the end of October for the NWSL. I'm saying that out loud for awareness for people because people ask me all the time, like, when is the WNBA season? I want to get to a game. I'm like, you missed it. It's in the summer. So the NWSL game, championship game is in DC at the end of October. There's panels leading up to it. I'm actually moderating one of the panels, so I'm going to be in the building for the championship game. Hope to see you there, okay? Hope to see you there. But I'm curious, what type of growth have you seen the NWSL make over the past couple of years? Because even in our women, like in women's sports, it's changing dramatically. I know that people probably see the numbers coming across the timeline of the most viewed game in the past 10 years and the WNBA, there's so many strides. So we talk about it a lot on the WNBA side, but I'd love to hear from you the strides that you guys have made on the NWSL side.
You mentioned it before with just the viewership, like the number of views are going up and up because more companies are investing in women's sport and putting it on TV so that young girls can watch, because I would have loved to be able to watch the Women's Professional League when I was coming up. But that wasn't the case for me, but it is now. And we want to make the most of it and make sure that we're putting on the best product on our platform. So one of the coolest things I've seen was the opening match for Angel City. They had 22,000 fans in their first game of the season. They've got all their investors on the sideline, and coming in as the opposing team, it was so hard not to be in the moment because you're like, wow, this is a win for women's soccer. Whatever happens.
Yeah.
Today,
oh, you played in that game, right?
Yeah. You were like, here. Yes, we're here to compete. Yes, we're here to compete, but man, this game is going in such a special way. Like it is growing exponentially. And then we saw that record get topped by San Diego just last week. And I love it because we're pushing each other towards greatness. And I'm so excited to go to San Diego later this week because hopefully we can make our playoff push and clinch that last spot. And for us, we want to play in front of these big stadiums and have the fans screaming where we can't even hear each other on the field, because that's the moment we've dreamed of all of our lives.
Well, we're rooting for you.
Yes, we are. Yes,
we're pulling for you. What I just want to re-emphasize what she just said. There were 22,000 fans loud screaming, the most ever. And then just to top it off, a couple days ago, was it 24,000 or 26,000? But I can't remember the exact number, but it was somewhere around 24,000 fans poured in to watch a game. So just so that people, no one's watching it, no one cares. Yeah, there's about 22,000 people that actually cared at the same moment to be in the building, and that's the growth of the sport. And so we wish you nothing but the best. Like I said, I'm gonna be there. Me and Serena are gonna be there for the championship game, so I hope to see you there. But love what you're doing, love what you're building. Keep making it a generational thing for your family, because that's what we love here at MoCo.
Yes.
Well, thank you. So, I just love just sharing a collective passion for sport, because even having you at the championship game, for example, you've got a platform of women's sports supporters who haven't maybe been introduced to soccer. And it just goes a long way that you're extending your platform to that event. So thank you to you as well, and just for having me on. And I hope that we can definitely cross over, because I'd love to hear more about the WNBA and even other women's sports, because if we raise the bar and support one another and just challenge each other to reach for new heights, it's just going to be such a special era of women's sports.
I like that.
Hey, where you running? I'm looking for you, okay?
Absolutely.
I love it. We love it. We love it. And tell your family we said hello, because I feel connected. It's a similar family type. And thank you for joining us here on Montgomery Co.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we're not going to keep a running score, because the competitive humans, that is my family, they will get caught up in who's won what. They already started asking me questions about who won the previous MoCo Trivias. I don't know. Each one is a standalone, and we're back at it again, okay? Okay. Are y'all ready? Because this trivia involves money and advertising, because I think this is a big world that we're living in, as far as like y'all see ads go up all the time. We recently covered Forbes top creators. That's a whole world. There's a lot of money flowing, and I want to see if y'all know just how much money is flowing, and that's what our MoCo Trivia is about today. Everybody's going to guess Snook. Snook already mad. She feel like she got a disadvantage. Look, she mad. Everybody's going to be guessing Snook. Don't nobody know these numbers. I had a researcher find these numbers. I don't even know them. But y'all are going to have to answer today.
Serena, you didn't idea.
Oh, no.
She didn't even know what the topic is.
No.
I don't even mention these things.
She definitely she has somebody else to do this research, because she, this is the only thing that she doesn't let me touch on. So
this is all, because I want it to be fair. I want her to be just as confused as everybody else. So starting with question 1, who we starting with? What's the order so we could get the order going? Who won last time?
I did.
All right, so Cole can go. You can pick where you going, first or last.
I'll go last.
So Cole's going last. Snook and Serena, they're a little, speaking of thruples and couples, they always like to be tag teaming together. So which one of y'all going first?
Whatever Serena wants.
Here we go. Well, I'll choose since I was a winner. So Serena, you going first. Snook, you going second, and I'll go last. There you go.
Okay, so here we are. Serena, you're up first. In 2020, Disney was the largest advertiser on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, with an estimated ad spend of blank US dollars. A, 217, B, 235, C, 284, or D, 311. So let that sink in that Disney has spent one of those amounts in 2020 on ads on social media.
In billions? Millions?
These are millions. Yes, millions. All M's. A, 217, B, 235, C, 284, or D, 311.
I would say 311.
D, 311 is correct. Disney spent $311 million in 2020 on ads on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
They struggling. They struggling.
That's a lot of money.
They never had to spend that much before, I guarantee you.
That's a lot of money. Now, Snook, you're up next. The question is, how much did Ronaldo, who is a soccer player, make per sponsored post on Instagram? How much does he make per sponsored post? The answer is A, 1.2 million, B, 1.4 million, C, 1.6 million, or D, 1.8 million. How much does he make?
Questions like this. It's 1 million in the increments. Come on now.
Look, she mad. Look, Snook, what you
gotta get your point right on that.
You got to get your point right. So it's either 1.2 A, 1.4 B, 1.6 C, or 1.8 D. How much does that man make per post? Think about this money, y'all.
It's ridiculous.
1.6.
The answer she picked was C, 1.6, and that is the correct answer. What's going on?
I don't even like how this is already going. I know what's about to happen.
This is hilarious. Let that sink in that somebody, every time they post to their social media from a sponsored ad, that man is making over $1 million. The money is flowing. Where the money reside, where the money reside.
That's crazy.
That's why I wanted to do this, so we could all let this sink in. Cole, your question is, at the time of this, by 2021, who was earning the most on TikTok?
Oh,
A, Kobby Lane, B, Charlie D'Amelio, C, Bella Porch, or D, Addison Rae? Who was earning the most on TikTok?
The only name I actually recognize is that Charlie. So I'll say B. Was it B, Charlie?
Charlie D'Amelio, B?
Yes.
Which is the correct answer. What's going on here?
It's the only name I recognize. I was like, let me go with the one I heard before.
So we got ones. Everybody got one all the way across the board. We're starting at the top now again. So y'all know Charlie D'Amelio is making money on TikTok, okay? Mm-hmm. All right.
So wait, I have a question. This is just to the one that you did last week. So was she in the top 10 creators, Charlie D'Amelio?
Yeah.
That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why I remember her name.
And she was actually, Cole, you might have remembered subconsciously that she was the top TikTok creator on that list, even though the list wasn't about who was just on one platform, but they said that was her highlight. So
see, I remember UConn. When I think D'Amelio, I think UConn.
Yeah, shouts to UConn. Charlie's dad went to UConn. Shouts to Mark. That's what's up. Okay, Serena, your second question. Fashion Nova, baby. I can buy designer, but that Fashion Nova fit. Okay, so listen. Fashion Nova spent a whopping $1 million on influencer marketing in 2019 alone. So how much did Fashion Nova spend on Cole? I can't. Y'all got to watch Cole's reactions. I'm just saying. Because this is a lot of money flying around here. Okay, A, 15 million, B, 25 million, C, 30 million, or D, 40 million. How much did Fashion Nova spend on influencer marketing in 2019?
I would say 15 million.
The answer A, 15 million?
Yeah.
That is incorrect. Fashion Nova is breaking bread. $40 million spent in 2019. So all the people that y'all saw say Fashion Nova partner, I believe it because they was really dropping money out there. Shouts to K Cruz.
I'm mad I didn't know about that.
All right, so next, people making money.
K Cruz is actually Pretty Little Things.
Sorry.
Yeah.
K Cruz is Pretty Little Things. My bad. Okay, we didn't want to give Fashion Nova no extra stuff. Okay. Okay, so this is really okay. So who's up next? Snook. Look, she already mad. Snook already mad before I even answer the question. Okay. Snooka Booka. Kylie. Okay, no, let me do this one. How much amount is spent on TikTok advertisement from Amazon in the first 4 months of 2022? So listen to this. In the first 4 months of 2022, which is this year, how much money did Amazon spend on TikTok advertisement? A, 12 million, B, 14 million, C, 19 million, or D, 22.5 million? Snooka Booka. She mad. What's she writing now?
I'm writing down 12, 14, 19, 22.5.
Okay, you're going to write it down. Yes, that's correct.
I can do the spread and figure out.
There ain't no deductive reasoning happening here. It's just a guess.
Okay, I'm going to go with, repeat the question again, please.
Look, this is on the game show. If this was a game show, everybody mad. All the other contestants mad. You wasting the time. But let me read it again. How much money did Amazon spend on TikTok advertisements in the first 4 months of 2022?
I'm going to say the 12 because I think Amazon might be a little cheap.
I'm with Snook. They don't need to advertise. So why would they spend that much money?
Snook said her guess was Amazon spent $12 million in the first 4 months, and Snooka-booka. Amazon said, where the money reside, because they spent $22.5 million in just the first 4 months. The correct answer was D. Amazon, y'all don't know. Y'all need to know that I want to say this PSA right here in the middle of MoCo Trivia. Amazon is taking over the world. I don't know if anybody's paying attention. They now have Thursday night football.
But listen, I agree with you.
That's why I stopped ordering from them. They're not going to take over my life.
Oh, please.
Listen, please,
I just got
Mom.
an email for yesterday of something she ordered.
we get the notifications on our Alexa.
Well, listen, I'm going to just say this, and I agree with Renee. They are taking over the world. But what shocks me is that they have to advertise, because who's not going to Amazon?
They're advertising their takeover. So people might not know Thursday night football. Yeah, you got to come pay us. They advertising their takeover. You guys got to, like, the things that they're in now. It's just like, wow. Like, they have baseball. Do y'all know that they have baseball?
No. I was just going to say, no, they don't have baseball. Apple has baseball.
Oh, Apple has baseball. Yeah, that's true. Sorry.
I was like,
Apple has baseball, but it's just like Amazon's taking over a lot. So I'm sorry, Snooka-booka, that answer was incorrect.
Okay, well.
So now it's like
they didn't need to, really. So, that was just wasted money. They spent $10 million more than they needed to.
They should have hired
Cole, are you ready? Because Snook,
yes.
She over here mad. Okay. So before everything happened with Will Smith, this is pre-slap. Will Smith earned an estimated blank thousand a month from TikTok. So he was on the payroll. Okay.
Thousands a month. Okay.
A blank thousand a month. Okay. So was it A, 57, B, 55, C, 50, or D, 47 per month that Will Smith made from TikTok?
D, 47.
Cole went with D, 47, estimated 47,000 a month from TikTok that Will Smith earned. And the correct answer is A, 57. He made the maximum amount.
Have you noticed, as an instructor in developing these questions, I see there's a thing running through the answers. It's always the highest one. So
how did you get it wrong?
The next round team, whatever the highest number is, choose that one, because that'll be the answer more than likely.
So wait a minute, are we all even now? Everybody won one, everybody lost one?
Did y'all all get it wrong that round?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Oh, wow. So we got to go one more round of Snook thinks she has the answer now to how to... Snook thought she done figured out the answer, even though she got it wrong. But let's see here.
Well, let's go back. Now, let's go back to Will Smith real quick on the pre-slap, post-slap, 57, however much he was making.
57,000 a month
57,000 a month from TikTok. Okay, fine. So y'all know he's coming back to that. I mean, I don't know why people act
we just don't have the research numbers yet. I like to be factual here. So these numbers were taken before that occurred. So yes, he'll probably come back and make 65 if he really, you know what I'm saying? The businessman that I know he is, if it was me, I'm coming back getting 65 because look, I'm sorry, we got past it. I got Cobra Kai back on air. We know Bel Air coming back. My business is coming back, baby. And I've always been funny. If I was him, I would have said, y'all know the content gonna be lit. But yeah, he was making $57,000 a month just to be on TikTok.
That's crazy.
I heard he's coming back with a black table too.
Snook, I don't know what to think about that, if it's true or not.
A black cable network or a black cable?
No, she said because of the red table talk.
Oh. I didn't even get that part.
Mom.
He said,
Sam got it. See, 7, I think.
We here.
Wow. Are y'all done? Can we move on?
Yes,
Y'all
let's
done
move on. Let's move on, Lord.
Okay, because I didn't know what was going on. All right. So this one's in euros, so we don't do that.
Euros? We can do euros.
No, I cannot. I can't do euros, rubles, whatever else that they got out there.
I got a good one. Okay, so who's up? Are we changing the order for the final round?
No. It's fine.
Okay. I love my competitive family. Welcome to a sports family. All right, so for MoCo Trivia, the final round, if you missed the question, you're just out. All right. For Serena, your question is TikTok's total revenue is projected to hit more than blank by 2024 and take up 3.5% of digital ad spending, like meaning all of it. Okay, I want you guys to understand what TikTok is doing. All right, TikTok's total revenue is projected to hit more than blank. A, 7 billion, B, 9 billion, C, 10 billion, or D, 11 billion.
I'm going to go with Snook and go with the highest one. I'm going to choose 11 million.
It's billion, honey. It's
billion, 11 billion.
Yeah. Come on, my favorite show. You know one of my favorite shows, baby. Put that B on me. All right, so you said what was it?
11 billion.
D, 11 billion?
Mm-hmm.
The correct answer is D, 11 billion.
Look, your theory might be right.
This is so funny. I just can see how this is going to play out.
I do too. I see how it's going to play out.
I'm crying.
Now she's trying to figure out which one is not the highest.
Okay. How much money? Okay, Cole, who is it? Snook?
It's Snook.
How much money spent in year 2020 on advertisement on social media in the USA? How much money was spent total on advertisement on social media in the United States of America? Okay, and these are census that done it. A, 10 billion, B, 20 billion, C, 30 billion, or D, 40 billion? Are you going, let's ride, Snooker Booker? What you going with?
On a friend.
Let's ride, Snooker Booker.
I'm going to go with D. The highest. Which one was that one?
40
billion?
40 billion. You're going with 40 billion, D?
At the highest one, she said?
I'm not. Listen, what's your answer? Is it D?
Yeah, it's D.
Okay, Snook said D, $40 billion.
Yes.
Snooker Booker. I knew you shouldn't have went with that theory.
See, I'm getting ready to come to Atlanta and choke you.
All right, we'll give you the answer after these commercials. Roy, hit it.
You gonna Ryan Seacrest us right now? Really? You gonna do us like that?
Snook, that's why, you know what Diddy always used to have a saying, you can't be too smart for your britches.
What was it? Wrong. She wrong.
So it's C then, huh?
The correct answer is D, $40 million.
Wow. Look at that.
All right.
Renee, don't come over here with no foolishness. Don't come this way with no foolishness.
What's everybody
she about to do?
Before she even reads a question.
I'm just done.
Why is she about to come here with some foolishness?
Mine's
going to be a penny off. She going to give me something with a penny off.
So I'm trying not to, because this is bad. This is bad. How much did Kobby Lane earn through TikTok each year that he was there?
I don't even know
who is he?
Kobby Lane was one of the top Forbes creators. He was on our list, people. Come on now, Kobby. Remember, Cole, you said, why does he want to go to TV if he's making so much on social media?
Person. Okay, that's cool.
Okay, come on now. We got the carryover. So Kobby earned how much from TikTok? A, 2 million, B, 4 million, C, 6 million, or D, 18 million?
See?
2, 4, 6, 18?
I'm going to go with D, 18 million. See?
Why y'all laughing?
Because they know I got it wrong. See,
I'm laughing because everybody's been choosing D.
Because Snook, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Snook gonna have y'all out of here because Kobby actually made $4 million a year. B, Cole, you have been eliminated using Snook's theory. Now Snook and Serena remain for the sudden death.
Oh my gosh, I'm scared.
And I'm going to see who rides that theory out. All right.
Good luck, baby.
Thank you, Snook. Good luck.
Oh, this is great. Who is it? Snook or Sam?
It's Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sam. Kylie Jenner is paid around blank for a single post on Instagram. Kylie Jenner is paid blank on Instagram. 1.0 million. Oh, I don't know why they said 0.0. A, 1 million. B, 1.2 million. C, 1.4 million. Or D, 1.6 million. Kylie Jenner was paid blank for a single post on Instagram. That's her rate.
I would say 1.2 million.
Final answer is B, 1.2 million?
Yeah.
Wow, that is correct. You just went away from Snook's logic? Wow. Okay, let's keep it in the same place. How many followers does Kylie Jenner, an American model, I don't know why they added that part, who is a top Instagram influencer, how many followers does Kylie Jenner have in 2022? Snook, don't be looking around nowhere.
I always write down the answers.
Okay, well, write this down. A, 326. B, million. B, 330 million. C, 361 million. And D, 455 million. Now, we know your answer.
No, I think I'm going to change. Because
they set me up.
Why would they put with those rounded numbers? Why would you have a 361 in there? That seems kind of odd to me with those others. So I'm going with C, 361 million.
Oh, Snookabuka Co. So Snook, I'm just recapping everything because this is what I like to do. Cole got out on Snook's theory, and now Snook and Serena have both changed their methods. Serena got one right. Snook said C, 361, and Snook is correct. So we are going to continue our battle it out to the final straw. Okay, Serena. Cole is still claiming that she was set
that's
up.
why I write them down. You see, you have to look at what you're working with to figure out the answer. That's why I try to tell my students all the time. Just don't jump up there. You have to kind of look around.
This is a comedy. So Snook said you got to think about it. All right, Serena, your question is, which brand is spending the most on Instagram? A, Ciroc, B, Walmart, C, Fashion Nova, or D, Pretty Little Things?
No, we're just talking about Pretty Little Things.
Yeah,
Fashion
they done
Nova.
made the trivia.
What was the second one?
Snook, this is not your question.
It's not your question.
Walmart.
Okay.
Fashion Nova.
Sam's answer was C, Fashion Nova, and that is the correct answer. My goodness, this is getting crazy.
We already given. See, that's one of the ones when you have a test. They're too close. You had already said it was way up there, so that was easy.
Well, how much is Pretty Little Things making, Snook? Because I didn't put that question in there. I just didn't pick it.
Is that for me?
No.
Okay, well, I'll just pass on that one and get on to mine.
I got questions and stop playing.
I don't want to overdo my brain.
Wow. Okay, because Snookabuka, I tell you, she gonna have a problem with all of them. All right, according to Cantor, Mucinex, y'all know that one, we got allergies. Mucinex has spent blank million in the first half of 2019 on social media. Mucinex now.
Interesting.
Yep, get your sniffles together. I don't want to hear no crying after anybody gets it wrong. A, 19 million. B, 29 million. C, 24 million. Or D, 34 million. How you like that for patterns? A, 19 million. B, 29 million. C, 24 million. D, 34 million. How much is Mucinex spending on social media?
I'm not real sure about this, but from the way I've thought about it, B, 29.
You gotta be kidding me. That's correct. Okay, so
we're gonna have to just extend this to next week because
next week they'll have the showdown because we don't have no more time for these two.
Yes.
Clearly, Snook and Serena love the marketing space so much so that they even guess it right. Deductive reasoning, Snook would like to add, but MoCo Trivia, we're gonna have to be to be continued because we're running out of questions over here with these two. We'll see y'all next week where we got a whole nother topic, and Cole, we'll see if Cole can join.
you know what?